Hey guys, Dreadbane joined by Sapphire. This is game two of the Whirlpool finals between Elwar, the random player playing Protoss this game, and Rake, the orange Protoss player on Lost Temple. So, Seth, game two.
Yeah, I feel that Elwar was really in control last game on Metalopolis, so Rake's really going to have to pull something out here. He's really going to. It's almost like he needs to go back to training camp after that initial foray that both had. But Rake is a really strong player, and I expect him to bounce back, especially considering this is a mirror matchup. And I always favour in up against a random player that the mirror matchup is the strongest for the non-random player because you're just so used to that matchup and you're so used to thinking that race and you understand that race so well, whereas the other player has to work on three races. And this is how mirrored this is. And talk about a mirror match, you see the probes bypassing each other at exactly the same time. Pylons going up at the very, very similar timings there. So, yeah, so far they're just being identical, although a little bit of a smarter choice there by Elwar choosing to go via the Zelnaga Tower, which is always a good idea because if you're not in these close positions like they are at the moment, you can pick up the opposition scout and really get some good information because the radius on this Zelnaga Tower is absolutely massive. So you can pick up a scouting drone, or you can actually not see your opponent's scouting drone and decide to go to a different location, which is going to be a really big time saver. But so far, it looks pretty standard opening from both players, looking like both going for a little bit fast on the assimilator here. Although Rake went very, very early on his assimilator, getting it up probably like one probe faster than Elwar did here. So I like this play from Rake. He's being a little bit aggressive, going for that a little bit tech heavy option here, so we may see a really fast cycle coming out for Rake as opposed to the delayed one that we saw last game. So far looking very similar, but Rake is a little bit faster at this point.
I think what you're missing here is, I mean, these two are really just starting out in this first half of these finals. They're really going to lull you from a sense of security. Then they're going to throw out this crazy, like, proxy pylon business, motherships, Dark Templars, like, you're going to see some Thor drops. Like, there's some business going. This is going to be some crazy matches. Just you wait.
I'm really hoping it's going to be Thor drops in a Protoss vs Protoss. However that happens, I'll be super impressed. That's what I want. I want a Protoss vs Protoss with Thor drops. That'd make my day. But actually, what I really want is both players to go Mothership Rush, because that's clearly the most optimal strategy in Protoss vs Protoss. So if we get Mothership on Mothership, I'm going to die a happy man.
They are another gateways going down for Elwar with an assimilator. Meanwhile, just more gateways for Rake and a cybernetics core. So he looks like he's going to go the similar build to last time, preferring the stalkers over zealots early on. So it looks like looks like Rake's deciding his build is okay the first time, so he's going to try it again. We'll have to see if it works better against a Protoss player. He does have this little pylon hanging out on the top of Elwar's base, though. So I hope he makes a little pylon. I really do. I just want to see some crazy business in this.
You want your sneaky proxy pylon? Yeah, well, it's a little bit of a slip up by Elwar to realise that this probe is still in his base. He really needs to pick that up and not allow Rake to get a pylon off in his base, because if Rake is able to apply early pressure, and you see here Rake is just actually countering what he's doing by putting a pylon on the reverse side of his base. That way he can hide tech and he can also pick up scouting information if there's any kind of sneaky business like what Rake's actually doing here. And both players are going with very, very similar builds here. The deviation is only now just starting to kick in with Elwar throwing down a robotics bay, whereas Rake hasn't thrown his down. He's throwing down a Twilight Council, and he's gone for that hidden tech location, so that any scouting information picked up by Elwar will miss this hidden tech, and he'll need to send his observer, which I assume is going to come out first out of this robotics facility, to the left here. So I like this by Rake. If from on paper this looks like it's a just a standard 2-gate opening, so Elwar's going to be expecting nothing but tier 1 units, but he does actually have the Twilight Council going on, so he can transition into High Templars or possibly get very, very fast Blinkstalkers online. So I like this opening from Rake, and it just goes to show what I was saying about the mirror matchups, because both players are coming out with a very, very similar build, but Rake's was just much more efficient and much tighter, because when you're playing against a random player, they're not used to that matchup as you are, and then they don't know the race quite as well as a specialist race player does. So at this point, I do favour Rake, but it's just so similar, and the deviation is not that big. It's just depending on what Elwar chooses to pump out of this robotics facility, and he's gone for that Immortal before the Observer. I don't agree with this. It does mean that if there was a timing push coming out of Rake, that he would actually be able to hold that really, really well, and he can actually think about making a timing push himself, but I feel that Observer is just coming too slowly, and by the time it gets there, he really would have needed that information a little bit sooner, and he would have seen that Rake has thrown down 4 gateways here, whereas Elwar's only getting his 3rd gateway online now, so I feel that Elwar's a little bit behind here, and he's going to need to really play quite efficiently to catch back up.
Rake's actually gone with the Dark Templar build, so he's coming through for me. He's gonna do some crazy business. This little pilot, this little probe, sorry, is still in Elwar's base, so this observer might not even catch this before it's too late. The Dark Shrine is going to be up in a matter of seconds, and the pilot is going down for Rake. I love Rake right now. This is some crazy business. I hope it works out, because I love people that just try something completely out of the ordinary. Elwar has no idea this is happening. Absolutely no clue. He hasn't even found out that there's a Dark Shrine there, so this could be devastating for Elwar if he's not careful, because the Observer is not anywhere to be found.
Yeah, unfortunately for Elwar there, he did send his Observer in, but he didn't go to the left. So these Dark Templars have been warped in, and they're just going to down on this robotics facility, and they're going to drop that Immortal production, and he's not going to be able to get an Observer out again. He's going to have to pull this Observer back that was in his main base, while this Rake going for these